If you've ever studied Chinese idioms, you can probably relate to this feeling. F this Chinese. But don't worry, I'm here to help, and today I'll be looking at the Chengyu
宝刀不老。
So as always, even if you know what the individual characters mean, foreigners can't really guess the overall meaning. For instance,
宝
means treasure, and
刀
means knife. Okay, treasured knife or expensive knife.
不老。
Not old. The treasured or possibly expensive knife is not old. What? So firstly, the actual meaning of this idiom is, the old guy still got it. So here's the story behind it. During the Three Kingdoms period, a guy called Cao Cao had a loyal general called Zhang He, who attacked a place called Jiameng Pass. Another guy called Meng Da, he led an army to oppose Zhang, but Meng was...
被打败了。
But Meng's colleague, Huo Jun, wrote a letter to a local warlord called Liu Bei, who then summoned military advisor Zhuge Liang, although this picture is just an actor. But the real Zhuge Liang was and is apparently the smartest person in the whole of Chinese history. If you don't believe me, just watch. Who's the smartest person in Chinese history?
诸葛亮。
Thanks. So Zhuge Liang said there was only one guy who could defeat Zhang He, but that guy was already too busy defending somewhere else. At which point, an old guy stood up and said, I'll give it a go. But Zhuge Liang, the smartest guy in China, said, "You're 70 years old, mate," implying that he was probably not the best choice. To which the old man, who was called Huang Zhong, said, "Bollocks to that, I've got 2 strong arms, I can use a bow and a heavy knife." And he went and picked up a heavy knife and 2 bows, and just to prove that he still got it, he broke them into 2. At which point, Zhuge Liang said, "Who wants to go with him?" Old man Huang said, "I'll take General Yan Yan," who also happened to be really old, and off they went. At which point someone else said to Zhuge Liang, "This isn't a very good idea," to which Zhuge Liang responded, "Ha ha 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 ha. They are bound to succeed, and I know this because I'm the most clever person in the whole of Chinese history." So the 2 old men rode out to Jiameng Pass, and when they got there, they met the 2 generals that we mentioned at the start of this story, Huo and Meng, who fought Zhang but were ultimately
被打败了。
Now these 2 losers laughed at the 2 old men, to which the old men presumably said, "Off." At which point Huang rode out to face off with Zhang He. Do you remember Zhang? This whole story is about him, they're trying to defeat him. Now Zhang couldn't stop laughing himself because Huang was so old, at which point Huang finally said,
小子欺我年老，我手中宝刀却不老。
which means, "You make fun of my age, but the sword in my hand isn't old." And after he said this, the army standing behind Zhang let out a huge cry because they'd been ambushed by Yan Yan. So Zhang was finally
被打败了。
Zhang was chased away and his army was slaughtered to death, which puts a bit of a downer on this story. But anyway, that's why 宝刀不老 means that old guy still got it.